Yep.
Hey, it's RT here with itsfightingstupid.blogspot.com. We're going to do some predictions for the inaugural broadcast of the UFC on Fox. This is the first time mixed martial arts is going to be on major network television, at least in the UFC form, which is the best form there is. We're going to start at the top of the card and work our way down. We're going to start with the main event, Cain Velasquez taking on Junior Dos Santos for the heavyweight championship of the world. This is guaranteed to be a really good fight. There's a couple of variables here going in. Number one, Cain Velasquez has not fought in about a year since his victory over Brock Lesnar for the UFC heavyweight championship. In that time, he's had surgery on a torn rotator cuff and has been, completely inactive. That normally would be a bit of a worry, but I don't think that Javier Mendez and AKA would be letting him go into this fight unless he was 100%. Ariel Helwani of MMAfighting.com has been reporting that there has been some rumors of injuries in his camp, but I think that is probably being overblown. And Junior Dos Santos, he's taking on a very dangerous fighter who's got really good boxing, he's got solid takedown defense, and he's very hungry. That said, I don't think he's taken on a wrestler the caliber of Cain Velasquez. Junior Dos Santos has taken on guys like Roy Nelson, he has taken on Shane Carwin, but I think Shane Carwin's back is less than 100%, and I think he's so heavily muscled that he's not really the kind of wrestler that's going to give Dos Santos problems. Cain Velasquez, on the other hand, is. He's incredibly athletic, and he's in incredible shape. The year layoff may put that to the test, but I still think his cardio is going to be there. I think he's going to take down Junior Dos Santos repeatedly, wear him out, and eventually TKO him in the fourth. Moving to the co-main event of the evening, we've got Ben Smooth Henderson taking on Clay the Carpenter Guida. This is a really exciting fight, and I think it's a mistake on the UFC's part not to put this on the network broadcast on Fox. I think it's guaranteed to be fireworks. Both these guys push a really good pace. As for how it technically breaks down, Clay Guida is a guy who likes to be on you like glue and just overwhelm you with his relentless pace and take down heavy game. In Ben Henderson, he's running into a guy who is more athletic, who can match him takedown for takedown, and who's probably going to have a sizable advantage, not only size-wise, but also in skill when it comes to striking. So I like Ben Henderson here. I just think he's going to be able to beat Clay Guida at his own game and probably win by decision. Next on the card, we've got Dustin Poirier taking on Pablo the Scarecrow Garza. I think that Poirier's physicality and the discrepancy on the feet is going to be the difference here. I don't think Garza is going to be able to match him athletically. I don't think he's going to be able to match him in the strength department, and I think we see Poirier just kind of wear him out on the feet and get the decision. Next we have Ricardo Lamas taking on Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's another gentleman coming off a long layoff. He was dealing with facial fractures incurred in his last training camp. That's always going to be a psychological issue going into your next fight. When your face breaks on you, are you really going to have the kind of confidence in your ability to take a strike that you did before? In Ricardo Lamas, he's taking on a guy who's very durable, who's very physical, who pushes a strong pace, and who's faced quality opposition. And I think that's going to be enough here. I think the long layoff, coupled with the skill level of Lamas, I like Ricardo Lamas again by decision. Next up, we've got DeMarquez Johnson taking on Clay Havison. I don't think either of these guys are long for the UFC, but that said, between the two of them, DeMarquez Johnson is the better fighter. He's got a more well-rounded skill set. I think he eventually gets this to the floor where he may find a submission. If that's not the case, then we're going to see it go all 3 rounds. Next on the agenda, we've got Kid Yamamoto taking on Darren Uyeoyama. This is a fight that I think is tailor-made for Kid Yamamoto. His last fight out, he took on DeMarquez Mighty Mouse Johnson, who's essentially Yamamoto's kryptonite. The man is faster than anyone in the UFC, and he's got one of the best shots in the sport. Kid Yamamoto, though he has a good wrestling pedigree, he's not going to be able to ever match a guy like Demetrius Johnson, speed for speed, takedown for takedown. And when he's got to fight off his back foot like that, he's not going to be as effective as he normally is. Uyeoyama does not present either of those problems. He's very durable, he's very skilled on the mat, and he's quite experienced, but Kid Yamamoto is going to be able to rough him up on the feet, he's going to be able to keep it standing, and just eventually find a way to TKO Uyeoyama. Moving down the card, we've got Robbie Peralta taking on Mackin Surmiser. I don't know a hell of a lot about either of these guys. I saw Surmiser's couple of fights in the WEC. Robbie Peralta, other than his Strikeforce fight against Street Fight Bancho, I'm not really too familiar with him. But what I could glean from that fight is Takeya Mizugaki, Street Fight Bancho, is basically a much better version of Mackin Surmiser. Peralta was able to handle him for 2 rounds out of the fight, and I think he's going to be able to do the same for Surmiser. I think you see him take decision in a gritty, kind of boring fight. Moving down the card, we've got Mike Pierce taking on Paul Bradley. Mike Pierce is essentially a poor man's Jake Ellenberger. He's similar to Johnny Hendricks in a lot of ways. He's got heavy hands, good wrestling, he's very aggressive. In Paul Bradley, he's taking on a broke-ass Jake Ellenberger, a guy who has good wrestling but has not developed the hands yet, and who just really is running off one facet of the game. Mike Pierce, provided he doesn't get overly aggressive and fall in love with trying to hurt Paul Bradley, I think he's going to be able to take this fight where he wants to, wear him out on the feet, mix in the takedowns, and make it happen. I like Pierce by decision. The first fight on the card is going to be available. All these fights, other than the main event, are going to be available on Fox.com, as well as the UFC's Facebook page. Is Tito Ortiz's protege Aaron Rosa taking on Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas, the word on the street is he's a very good prospect. He's got a big upside, but I think they may have dropped him in too deep a water here. With Aaron Rosa, he's taking on a guy who didn't really look very good in his debut, but I don't think he's cut out for heavyweight. At 205, I think you're going to see a lot crisper, a lot faster Aaron Rosa. I don't think he's going to be hanging around for very long in the shark tank that is the 205-pound division in the UFC, but I think he definitely has enough skills to get it done here against Matt Lucas. This has been our UFC on Fox predictions. I'm RT. You can check out the rest of our 360-degree coverage at itsfightingstupid.blogspot.com. Enjoy the fights.